Okay, so what Terraform is used is, this is for the IAC we are using. Okay, so IAC stands for infrastructure as code, and we can automate the complete infrastructure, end to end the complete infrastructure. We can automate through like a Terraform. And once we install, like for Azure, what is the prerequisite is Azure CLI is required. Then we need to install Terraform, and Terraform uses Azure RM provider and provision the Azure resources. Okay, so Azure resources are getting provisioned. What are the commands we are using is Terraform init, Terraform validate we can use, then Terraform,
Up,
yeah, FMT also we
apply.
can use, yeah, Terraform plan, and finally Terraform
Apply.
apply. Okay, so with which command the resources are getting provisioned?
Apply.
Apply. When the state file is getting created, when the
After
state file,
validate.
no, when the state file will get
State
created,
file after plan.
no,
After apply.
after apply the state file is getting created. Okay, so Terraform show will show us the
Uh, like pre-provision.
Terraform shows the like
Oh, it
what are the
should.
resources have been provisioned, all those details it will show. Okay, so if we declare any output values, it displays with Terraform output. Okay, so today we'll discuss about input and output variables. So if we declare the output variables, Terraform output will show. Then Terraform destroy. What Terraform destroy will do?
It will remove or destroy the resources that we
All the
created.
resources through Terraform, whatever the resources we have created, all those resources will be destroyed by Terraform destroy. Okay, so these all like we have now we have like files names wise. We may have main.tf. Okay, sometimes we can use providers.tf. In the providers.tf we can keep. Okay, so then what are the other files we can have is for the input variables we are going to use variables.tf we are going to use. Then outputs.tf also we have this for the output variables we are going to use. Okay, so then we can have main.tf, providers.tf. Okay, we use for the remote backend also we use. So we use backend.tf file for the backend. Okay, then when we do the Terraform init, one directory would be created, that is .terraform. Okay, what the Terraform directory contains? So what the .terraform directory contains?
All these resources.
No. All the providers which we have downloaded with the Terraform init.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. The
Okay,
provider.
from where those like providers are getting downloaded, from where those providers are getting downloaded. So those providers are getting downloaded from the Terraform registry. From the Terraform registry, those providers are getting downloaded. Okay, then dot Terraform dot HCL.log file also would be generated. Okay, these two when it will generate, with which command these two will downloads. With the Terraform init or when those files would be downloaded. .terraform and .terraform HCL log, with which command those are getting downloaded. With the Terraform init command. So with the Terraform, when you initialize, based on your configuration files, it is getting downloading. It is getting downloading your resources are getting downloaded. Based on your resources, it downloads the provider, which version of the provider we have, all those, and it's going to lock also to use this minimum version of the provider we need to use. All that is locked in this. Okay. So any doubts till this? Any doubts on this?
No, sir.
Okay, so now how to write that script? Okay, so we need to write down that Terraform script, right? For that, Terraform is going to provide, okay, so documentation. Okay, so the documentation we need to follow if you want to write down. Say, suppose we can't imagine what is the script. Now they have the documentation for the complete. This is the Azure provider. So now what is Azure provider is? Azure provider has been developed by Terraform and it is having all the resources what we can provision on Azure by Terraform. All those details have been there. Okay, so now here what Azure provider is providing is two things. One is data source, second one is resources. What is the meaning of resources means? Maybe one example is we have a VM, Azure VNet, resource group, or AVD host pool, session host, IAM. All these are the different examples for the resources. And we have data source also. That means a provider will have all these details we have. Okay. And from this, we are going to create the resources and data sources. And who is going to do this? So Terraform itself has been developed this Azure RM. Okay, and uh, in order to communicate with the Azure, we require definitely authentication, and we have the different ways of authenticating. We use even through CLI, we have authenticated, and even in that managed service identity, service principal, okay, service secret and service principal and secret, OpenID Connect. Okay, so that means some ways we require the authentication to Azure also. So then here we have like so we use this sample kind of script. In the main.tf, we are going to keep this one. Okay. So then here this is the provider block we are going to use. Okay. So provider block we are going to use and which version it is like maybe 3.0 it is going to download. Then this is the resource block. Okay, so in this, we have like in this line, try to understand. We have two keywords are there. One is we can give our own name. Can you tell me what are the keywords in that? In that highlighted line, what are the keywords are there, and what is the like?
Resource.
Yeah, resource is the keyword. Resource is the keyword. Next, Azure RM underscore resource group is also
Another keyword.
is another keyword. Example. So from the Terraform wise, we are keeping that name as an example. Okay. So now this one, in this highlighted, what is that keywords? What are the keywords?
Azure RM Virtual Network.
Yeah, Azure RM virtual resource and resource also is the keyword. But name what we have given is
Example.
example. So here also we have given example. Here also we have given example, right? But this from the Terraform wise, what is the name of that resource is Azure RM underscore resource underscore group dot example is the name of that. And below one Azure RM underscore virtual underscore network dot example we are getting. Okay. So like this, for each and every resource from the Azure wise, Terraform is declared already in the provider. That means if you have maybe 700 resources or 800 resources, whatever we have in the Azure, all we can provision from the
From Terraform.
Terraform itself. And Terraform is giving that configuration details for us. Okay, so now here we have example. Here we have example, right? But how we are going to differentiate this is even that resource type also is adding as a prefix kind of thing. Okay, so that means even here example is there, Azure RM underscore resource group. Okay, but in the same account, if I use, say here example resources one, okay, so this doesn't work. Why? Why it don't work?
Because that's not the name.
Because that resource group already example is there from the Terraform base. So here in this name, I have changed it to one, but here this example is same. Okay, then what I need to change? What I need to change in this use case?
Just the example.
Yeah,
Resource group name need to change.
yeah, this example. Say here I have already changed it, but from
Right.
Terraform wise, we'll get the conflict. Terraform wise, I'll get the conflict. That is the reason that's not going to allow us to create those. Okay, it is not allowing us to create that resource. Any doubts on that?
So we can't use a different, right? It is a predefined. Right?
No, this is predefined name, but we are giving duplicate, right?
Just name we are giving, but
Example, say instead of example, you can give whatever the resource group you want, you can create here.
that
But
example also we have changed the name as well, but it is not showing
no.
duplicate.
From Terraform wise, the name is Azure RM underscore resource underscore group dot cloudsoft dot example is name. But again, duplicate resource can't be created. From the Terraform wise, that issue we are getting.
Yeah. The existing names we can't provide, right? We
No,
said
if
like
you use already the same one, is say I'll create it, you may get clarity.
okay.
So we'll try to create that resource. You'll see practically that one. I'm directly using shell. So here already we have this my Terraform is there, right? In this, we have already one resource group is there. So what is the resource group name we have?
AVD Terraform resource group, AVD TF resource group.
No. That is from that portal. What is the name? It is displays.
Yes.
From Terraform wise, what is the name? Terraform wise, what is the name?
Azure RM resource group.org.
RG. The RG is the name, but we need to prefix even which resource type also that is, because RG may be given to network. Say suppose in the same example here, okay, so now the example has been given to network also, but it won't get duplicate because the prefix is making different. Azure RM resource group dot example is different. Azure RM virtual network dot example is different. But again, if I create one more resource with, I changed it here example hyphen network one. But from this perspective, like where Terraform is not able to create the resource because it is assuming it's a duplicate resource. Okay, so now here try to understand. I'll go for one more resource I'm getting created. I'm going to insert mode. Okay, so I'm adding one more resource also. Azurerm resource group CloudSoft. This will get create because there is no duplicate. Okay, so I'll try to provision this. Again, do you need to do Terraform init? No, why? Because already that .terraform log.scl, those have been already downloaded because previously when we run, we have already initialized that workspace. Now, Terraform, I'm directly showing the plan. Even validate also you can use. So now with this, maybe one or two resource groups are going to create here. Okay, so now two to add, zero to destroy. Okay, so two to add, zero to destroy. Okay, there is no doubt about that. Two resource groups are getting created. And if I go to main.tf again, again I'm changing the name to RG itself. But below that name is different. ABDTF resource group, example hyphen resources one. But RG wise, I'm giving the same name when I do Terraform plan. Okay, already Azure RM underscore resource group name, sorry, resource name RG was already
Existing.
existing. So that is the reason it is not allowing us to create. Okay, if you want to still to use that RG, the second one, you may change to maybe something RG1 like that you can declare. Now what I'll try to do here is this example resource group is there, right? This is the display name from the portal wise. This is the resource name from AVD TF. Now what I'm trying to keep Terraform wise RG1 are the names I have given. But in the portal, like this decision is going to be taken care by. So now what I have given the unique one. So what I have given the same thing.
RG1 you have given.
No, what I have given the same thing is
The name in the portal.
name in the portal. Okay, that is who need to decide that. That Azure need to decide whether they will allow the same name for the resource groups or not.
Okay.
Okay, so that is not Terraform wise. So now here it is showing 0 to add. Okay, so now try to apply that. So now two resources have been added. I'll go and check that. No, it's created only one, it seems. One problem what we have is already from the state file, it is assuming one resource is already there. As of now, we have six only. Now I'll try to, the Terraform wise also we don't have. Now I'll do the plan. Say two to add. The Terraform wise, azurerm.resource_.rg and .rg1. From view it is not allowing, but here it is showing it's created. Now two resources. Something strange because here it is not displaying two resources. When I delete this West Europe, then it is showing that East US one. If I delete this AVD resource group, West Europe we have, right? When I delete this resource group, then that East US it is displaying. But what I'm trying to say is here if that resource is not supported from GUI wise, at the time of apply it need to throw an error, but it shows it's creating that resource, but it's not displaying two resources here. Okay, so now try to refresh this. See, now it is displaying that East US. Previously it displays only West US. AVD resource group. Okay, this is the strange behavior because from the portal wise, it is not allowing to create the duplicate kind of resource. Okay, so if it is not allowed to create from the portal, even from Terraform wise also, these kind of issues may be resolved in the higher version of Azure provider. Means maybe the older version of Azure provider may not uh, fix those issues. We'll try with the higher version of the Azure provider. With that, we'll try to check that. Okay, so today we'll pass those values Okay, so now here we have changed this. So if I change that resource name, what is going to happen is main.tf here, this AVD resource group name, I'll change to, I'm not going to keep the same name from the portal wise, even anyhow that is not recommended. For testing purpose we give. Now if I do Terraform plan, now one to add and one to destroy. That means existing one resource is getting destroyed first, then it is adding one more resource. So which resource is destroying is the same resource is getting destroyed. But what happened is already we destroyed that or we deleted that from the portal. But why Terraform doesn't know that that resource has been destroyed? Why Terraform doesn't know? So Terraform will consider the state file itself. In the state file, the resource is not deleted. That is the reason Terraform doesn't know. But that actual resource has been destroyed from where? From the portal. Directly doing from the portal is not at all recommended. Anything need to do through Terraform itself. How to destroy that resource also, I'll show that. So now here we have Terraform apply. So now here we'll go and check in that resource group. Naresh, can you log into that portal once? Naresh?
Sorry, sir. Which portal? Sorry, the Azure portal.
Yeah, yeah.
1 minute, sir.
So now for one resource we change it to Azure TF resource group 1, but for others it need to change. Otherwise, I'll check from the resource group. Get The aged group list will display what are the resource groups we have. Terraform wise, we have two resources.
So logged in, sir, portal
Yeah, how many it is displaying?
resource groups, right?
Yeah,
7 only.
7 only.
ADTF resource group 1.
Yeah,
I
even
just checked
in CLI also it is displaying 7 itself.
7 only.
Yeah, but that US, so this is showing West Europe 1. Now
Yes.
anyhow that resource name also we have changed it to 1. I'll do one small thing. I'll add one more resource group in my Terraform wise. So here already we have two resources, right? So now try to tell me what is that, like how to declare resource? Azure RM underscore resource underscore group. Yeah. So now here we'll give RG2 I'm going to give. RG2 name equal to my Terraform I'm giving. Location.
West US.
Yeah, West Europe. That's not closed thing. Yeah, that resource has been closed now. The Terraform plan will show one resource is getting added. So it's showing 2 to add. This previously maybe destroyed, we'll see now. Now it is showing this AVD because previously with the Terraform previous apply itself that need to create. Now we'll check. So it need to display 9 now. Yeah, now it is displaying properly. Now AVD TF resource group, AVD resource group 1, and my Terraform. Okay, so these all the three are getting created. Now, if I use Terraform destroy, what is going to happen? If I use the Terraform destroy, what is going to happen? How many resource groups will destroy here? If I use Terraform destroy, how many would be deleted?
It has
So it displays now 3 are going to delete.
yeah.
But my problem here is, my use case is, I don't want to destroy all the 3 resources. Finally, I created my Terraform, right? That is only for testing purpose I created. Now only that resource I want to destroy. I don't want to destroy all the 3. But if I use Terraform destroy, what is going to happen here? All
It
the
will
3 are
All
getting
three
destroyed. Say, suppose here 3 to destroy it is showing, but I don't want that. That is the reason here I'm keeping no. Then Terraform. What is the command we can use for this kind of use case is Terraform destroy hyphen target we need to give. Okay, so what is the target I want to give is Azure rm underscore resource underscore group dot rg2 I need to give. What I need to give here? rg2. So because from the Terraform wise, that is the name for that. My Terraform is only from the GUI wise. But Terraform wise, what is the name is? .rg2. Okay, so what this will destroy is, how many resources are getting destroyed here?
only one.
Only one resource is getting destroyed. So now here if I say here only one resource is here. Previously it shows 3 resources. Now we have even RG1 also, right? If I want to destroy that resource group also, can you tell me what is the command for that? I want to destroy Terraform by RG1 also we have. So how to destroy that particular resource only?
We have to mention that
Yeah,
target.
Terraform destroy the Terraform destroy hyphen target equal to Azure rm dot resource underscore group dot rg1
Azurerm underscore.
underscore. Azure rm underscore resource group dot rg1. So in which option we are, sorry, in which scenario we are going to use target? You don't want to destroy all the resources. Okay, but Terraform destroy will destroy all these resources, but you want to destroy only one particular resource. Then in that option, we are going to use the target option. Okay, so now that one resource, particular resource has been destroyed now. So now I'll go for this. So try to understand here. Here we have Terraform configuration files. Mostly that is main.tf. And when I do that resources, all those resources are getting created in Azure. Okay. So then here we have one more thing is terraform.tf state. Okay. All the details have been stored in the terraform.tf state. Now I deleted that resource from Azure portal. Okay. How I have deleted? Say by portal or CLI, that means Azure CLI, or somehow I have deleted that like a resource. Then main.tf still consists of that, and Terraform also still consists of that resource. So now I'll do the same thing. So now, as of now, we may have only one resource group. Okay, that is in the East US. Now I'm going to destroy this one. Now I'm going to delete that. Okay, but Terraform state consists of still one resource group it consists, because two have been destroyed from target option. That's the reason that has been removed from state file also. And main.tf consists of how many resource group as of now still?
One.
No. In main.tf still we have three resource group.
Okay.
So here we'll go and check that. So now Terraform show is showing us one resource, because two have been destroyed, those have been removed, but still my configuration file having three resources. If I don't want these, even from your main.tf also you need to, from your main.tf also you need to remove those resources. Otherwise, if I do Terraform apply, okay, if I do Terraform apply, try to understand what is going to happen. Okay, because 3 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. Okay, so that's here we need to give yes. I deleted the resource from Azure portal. Okay, but still those are existing from state file and our Terraform configuration files also. Okay, so if you don't want that resources, don't delete from portal. Okay, so what we need to do in the production environments? Okay, delete by using target option and remove from main.tf. If I don't delete it from the main.tf, what is going to happen again? If I
Next.
don't delete it from the main.tf, what is going to happen?
The next time when we apply
When we
the
next apply, that resource is still getting created, but that's we no longer required. Okay, so now here we have three locations. One is your configuration files. Second one is from the state file. Third one is from the actual resources. All the three should be in the sync. If those are not in the sync, that is called as a drift. Okay, that drift also we need to handle. That drift also we need to handle. But here it is showing some wrong behavior. It is showing. So now here, what is the actual expectation? How many it need to add? Okay, so it need to add normally like 2 itself, because already one resource is already existing in that. So now it's created Azure TF resource group, TF resource group 1, my Terraform. Okay, so now I'll try to delete this my Terraform from, again I'll delete it from the portal. But Terraform doesn't know this, because in the state file, how many are existing?
3.
3 resources. Now it is showing 8 right here. So still this Terraform state file having 3 resources. Now again I'll do the Terraform plan. So now here, one to add, how it knows? The recent versions of the Terraform, like Azure RM provider, is refreshing even from the Azure also, whether that resource is existing or not. Now here, if I show the plan, try to understand here. If I do the Terraform plan, it is refreshing the state. Okay, what is this meaning of refreshing is, it is confirming whether those resources are existing or not. Okay, with this it identifies what it identified, that my Terraform is not existing. But where it is existing now? In our configuration file, it's still existing. If you don't want that my Terraform, what you need to do now? You need to go to this main.tf. Now all the 3 are in sync because the resource got deleted. But where it is existing as of now? In the state file that is existing. Even that we need to remove from the state file also. So no changes are required. Now we'll see Terraform show. So Terraform show is showing still how many resources?
3.
3 resources. But actually that's not in the configuration file. Now you need to remove that. Okay, that resource need to be. Okay, we need to delete. So for that, now we need to destroy. If we do, what is going to happen? If I use the destroy, what is going to happen?
It will delete all the
All the resources. But now here we need to remove it from
target.
state file only. So for this, what you can use is a Terraform state rm azure underscore resource underscore group dot what is the name?
RG2.
RG2 or my Terraform? RG2 or my Terraform? Yeah, this is RG2 itself from the Terraform wise. Sorry, we didn't give Azure RM is that. Okay, so now from where that resource has been destroyed? Only from the state file that has been removed. So it is displaying all now in the sync or not?
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes we may need to remove it from the configuration files, sometimes from the state file, and actual resource also sometimes we may need to destroy. But if any resource need to be destroyed, I recommend to destroy from the like configuration file, do the apply, or second option is use Terraform destroy, and with the target option you can destroy that resource. With the target option we can destroy. And coming to our tutorial back, so we already destroyed the resources. Then here we can declare the variables also. So now if I go and see my configuration file, what is the name we have given is my TF resource group something we have. But I don't want to give like this. I want to pass it through a variable. Okay, I want to create that as a the variable I want to create. Okay, so then I'm going to declare my variables. So now here I'm going to declare as the variables. Say now if I go for my infrastructure, okay, so what is the name I have given is, so in this what is the name I have given? My TF resource group, but I don't want to give like this. I want to declare as a variable. Then I'm going to use variables.tf I'm going to declare. So here I'm going to declare one variables.tf. In these variables, what is the keyword we use is variable and resource group underscore resource underscore group underscore name, and default value is my TF resource group. Try to understand here. I'll go to my configuration. So here we have main.tf. In this already two resource groups are there, but I'm going to create here variables dot tf. Okay, so in that variables dot tf, I'm going to declare one variable name. So what is the variable name is resource underscore group underscore name, and default value. Okay, say my TF resource group name is that. Okay, so now try to understand here. I'm keeping intentionally the different name. Now, if I go to my main.tf, okay, here this name is hard coded. I don't want to give this hard coded value. Okay, so now what I want to use here is var dot what is the variable name we have given here? What is the variable name we have given? What is the variable name?
resource
My
underscore
TF
group
resource
resource.
underscore group underscore name, then var dot resource underscore group underscore name I'm going to give. What is the advantage by using this kind of variables is the script is going to be reusable with the different environments. I don't want to hard code that value. Okay, so second resource I have hard coded with this value, but first one I have passed as the variable. Even for the location also, instead of east US, what you can declare is you can declare that as another variable that also will create. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is when I want to have added that var dot resource underscore group underscore name, then if I do the Terraform apply or that value, I can pass it from the command line. Okay, if I do Terraform apply, okay, which value it will take is here we have the default value, right? This value it will take. Okay, if I don't want the default value, I can pass it from the command line. What is the command I'm using here? What is the command I have used here? Say if I use just Terraform apply, which value it will take?
Default.
In the resource in the variable declaration we use the default value, right? That value it is taking. Okay, but if I want to change it from the command line, what I need to use? Okay, so now try to understand. Now in my main.tf, here we have azurerm resource group. Previously, what is the name we have there? avdtf resource group. Okay, but in our variables, what we have my tf resource group. If I do Terraform apply, what is going to happen? avdtf resource group need to be modified to,
My TF
yeah,
resource.
that is the actual expectation. We'll see what is going to happen now. So now here one to add, one to destroy. What is that meaning? Already avdtf resource group is there, right? That is going to destroy, and my tf resource group is going to create here. Why it is destroying? That is that means Azure is not directly supporting a rename option. That is the reason existing one it is destroying. It is creating a new one. I don't want that default value. Okay, I don't want that default value. Okay, so then this one I'll use. So if I apply with this command, what is going to happen? My new resource group name need to come there. So this will bring to my TF resource group name. Okay, one added and one destroyed. So now Terraform show. Sorry. As of now, it is displaying my TF resource group. Okay, now what I'm going to do is Terraform apply -var. I'm passing this as a command line argument. If I pass this as a command line argument, what is going to happen? Now, what is the existing one? It is going to replace with this. Compared to default value and this value, which is having high precedence. So as of now, in the default variable declaration, we have my TF resource group. But in the command line, what we have given?
My new
My
resource.
new resource group. Which one is taking precedence here?
The new one.
Yeah, from the command line will have always the precedence. If I don't pass anything from the command line, then the default one is going to be taken. The default one is going to taken. Okay, so now if I keep yes, that resource. So what is the meaning of input variables is we don't want to hard code the code with our own values. Okay, you can replace with the variables. With that, the script is going to be reusable for multiple projects or for multiple teams. We can use the same resource, like a same like a script we can use, but their own values may be different. Our own values may be different. We can pass it. So now one added and one resource got destroyed. Now I'll go to variables.tf. Now I'm going to declare one more variable. Try to understand here. Now variable, then I'm going to give here resource underscore group underscore name one I'm giving. Default equal to now I'm going to declare one more variable Azure region. I'm going to give Azure region, and default value what I'm giving is East US I'm giving there. Now these all the variables I have declared. Now if I go to main.tf, see here we have already hard coded value, right? This I'm going to replace this to var dot resource underscore group underscore name one, I think. Okay, so that is the name we have given. In the location also what I'll give is var dot, what is the name we have given? Region, right? I'll confirm that. Sorry, Azure region we have given. Resource underscore group underscore name underscore one. Sorry. So now here instead of region, what I need to give?
Azure.
Azure region. So like this, so second resource group location I have kept hard coded. That is also not recommended. Okay. So maybe for that also we'll create one more region like that. Now if I don't give any value, if I don't pass any value, sorry, small typo. Now depends upon your requirement, because already we given my resource group previously, but again that is replacing with, because now it is we don't pass any command line arguments, right? That is the reason it is taking from the It is set
Default.
the default value. Okay. So like this here we can pass it. Then in the same way in this we have one more like tutorial. This is the output value. What is the outputs.tf we are going to declare? Okay. So now like I don't know what is the resource group ID is getting generated. When this resource group ID will be generated? When I do the apply, then that resource ID or maybe for the VM that ID, IP address, all those are getting created after the provision. But I can see all those details from the state file by using Terraform show or Terraform state list. I can see those. But important values I want to declare as the output values, output variables. Okay. So now here I want to declare this as one output variable. Now in my script itself, not in main.tf, I'm going to declare one more file, outputs.tf I'm going to declare. In this, the keyword is the output is the keyword. So for the input variables, we are using variable is the keyword. But here we are creating one output variable we are creating. Okay. And that output variable we are creating is resource underscore group underscore ID. And that value we are getting created here. So now this outputs.tf is getting created here. Now what I'll do is, if I do Terraform apply, it shows that output ID for us. So now here it is showing that ID also is getting shown. Previously, you can get that output, but if you have hundreds of resources, searching that output from the state file or from Terraform show or state list is little challenging. That is the reason which are important for you. Those you are going to declare as output variable. If I declare that as the output variable, it's displays when we do the Terraform apply, or you can use Terraform output command also. So then this output it is displaying. Okay. So now what I'll do is for the second resource group also, I want to declare one more output variable. Okay. So now can you guide me? Output is the keyword. Output is the keyword. Then I can give the new ID name here, resource group ID 1. So this is the for the second thing we are going to give value. So if you have rg1, that rg1 dot id, rg1 dot now when I do the Terraform apply, it shows two output values it shows. So for all resources, you no need to declare the output values. Maybe say suppose you have the instance VM is there. For the VM, you may declare as like VM public IP, private IP. If you have VPC, then that VPC ID or VPC cider ranges. These all important values you can save it as an output value. So now here why it is showing two output variables? Because we declared two output variables we declared. Okay, so these IDs I want to get because I can get it still I can get it from the Terraform show command or maybe from the Terraform state list that IDs are there. Okay, now if I want to print that name one output. Then can you tell me what is that? Say now here we have this name option is there, right? Now can you tell me how to that how we can declare that as an output? So I'll declare one more output value. Try to understand. Output resource group name I'm going to use as an output variable. Value equal to azurerm underscore resource group dot rg dot name. I want to use that name. I want to use. Then this will show that name it is going to display for us. So previously we use the output value ID we use. Now that name also have added. You know how many outputs is displaying?
3.
3 outputs. What is the difference between inputs is what are the values you want to pass. By using the variables or input variables, what is the advantage is we can reuse the script with the different values instead of hard-coded those values in main.tf. Okay. And what is the advantage of outputs are like important details we can store as the outputs for the next level of automation. So I want to run from PowerShell script. These output variables may be the inputs for those. Okay, so that is the reason important details which you want to store them. Those details we are storing as output variables. Output variables we have used. Okay, so till this everyone try to do this lab. So here we have install already we done, build, change, destroy, variables, output variables, and already for the remote state we use Azure like blob storage we use as the remote backend. Locally we not recommended to keep the terraform.tf state. Okay, so that's the reason we are going to store that in the blob storage we are keeping. That lab again I'll show in the tomorrow session. Then in the tomorrow session we'll create AVD resources also through Terraform, because that is the purpose we are going to learn the Terraform. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes.